All right, my friends, here we are at top of the cohort, and it's a beautiful day. It's springtime over here, springtime in Germany or whatever they want to say. The idea of this show is pretty basic. We take the top player in terms of dojo score who has done something in the last 7 days. So in this case, it's Shattered Nirvana. Now, sometimes it's a little bit complicated the last 7 days. So for example, in my own case, even though I've done a lot of work, I haven't logged it yet. So, and there's complicated reasons why I haven't done that. Maybe I should. But in any case, yeah, I understand sometimes I don't log it either, even though I've been doing the work. But that is just my simple formula for doing this top of the cohort show. I try to do it more on a regular basis. And there's so many ways to cover this. One mild bummer about today's show is I feel like I have looked at a lot of these people fairly recently, you know, but that's okay. That's okay. So let's get into it. Shattered Nirvana. And boom. What we're going to do in this very simple story here is we're going to look to see how they're doing and then maybe try to make some kind of suggestion about how they could make it. So Shattered Nirvana has had some good progress, as you see, 1630. And what's actually fascinating about this is he will get a boost because, see, even if you use USCF, which is the national one here in the States, of course, even if you use USCF, when we recalibrate everything to FIDE because FIDE went up, that dude is also going to go up. There was a sensei question today, like, dude, how should I deal with this? And there's no simple way. But basically, everybody is floating up. And the sensei question made a lot of sense. He was somebody who was 1,200, it was now 1,400. And he was like, I have this study program. And, you know, obviously when we designed the program, we had people at 1,200 doing something and people at 1,400 doing a little bit harder work, right? So we have to recalibrate that too. That's going to be our own little head space jamba going on. Because as I said, it's not just the FIDE people. If we realign everything with FIDE, all the boats are going to move up. Well, 2,000 plus won't move up immediately, but all of the boats, you know, between 1,000 and 2,000 are going to move up. Okay, let's take a look. Got USCF, Lichess, no FIDE. That could be a aspiration for Shattered Nirvana to get a FIDE rating. Then we look at the training plan. We're going to reorganize this. If you guys have an idea of a layout about how it would look best, that would be cool. Really cool that Shattered Nirvana's got 145 of 151 games analysis. That's amazing. Let me reiterate the idea of the show, too. The idea of the show is that first premise of the training program, if you do everything, we hope that you make it. That's not a raw guarantee or anything, but like we feel like there's a very high chance if you do everything, not over a 10-year span, but over, you know, a reasonable amount of time, you will make it to the next level. And what we can see here is Shattered is really had a plateau. Right, had some great growth, and now he's got this plateau going on over here. Part of that might be too because he's dealing with, you know, kids whose rating is deflated when he goes and plays in the tournament. Well, I don't know Shattered that well, but it's fun to see that he has been playing chess forever because you can tell by the number. Mine starts 124. His is 125. So he's been in the game for a while. He's been in the game. Okay. So let's go back if there's anything that's missing just optically, it's work on here and here. I don't know if that's true. We'll have to look at it. By the way, our openings have now changed. So when we go openings now, I think it's much better. Now it's done by hours. So here you can see he's done with 1e4, needs some work against d4, nothing here, and needs work on his white repertoire. Yeah, so here it's just hours spent, and makes so much more sense with openings rather than, some complicated deal. Okay, so let's keep going. Activity, beautiful. As we've seen, games and analysis really the biggest. So middle game strategy, dude has read it would seem like he's read some of these books, but not all of them. Yeah. Well, he did a lot of books. I don't know why his score is so low. He did a lot of these books. And then what's he doing non-dojo? He's got a coach, that's great. Techniques of positional play, strategic exercises, session with Krissa, chess club at work. Dude, he's going for it. So we need Shattered Nirvana to make it. This guy needs to make it, bows. All right, clubs, Coders, SoCal. All right. So here it is. Chris Bunch is his name. And he needs to be, he is going to get this boost. So that's obviously a little bit artificial. But here we go. This was played, last week, and then he studied it for several days. So let's take a look at this game. Spicy game. White knows a little bit more theory. Okay. Oh, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. We've both been moving extremely quickly. White said in the postmortem that he plays this line as black also, so we were both pretty booked up here. Bishop e2 also seems like a reasonable move, but Gustafsson says this is the more popular move. The book move blocks in dark square bishop, but it does exert control over e4. Right. So he's talking about this move. And so it seems like he still is in his theory here. Maybe not. Wait, he says, instructive moment. Now that I'm out of prep, I sit down for a long think. My brain was telling me that I respond with h6 to everything except bishop d3, which is true, but I couldn't remember what the right move was. I kept defaulting to bishop d6, but I rejected it for concrete reasons, see variation, and ultimately I went with h6 anyway. The problem with this move is that white wants to move his knight to e4, yes, and capture black's knight, so I've spent a tempo creating a hook that white can exploit later. I don't know if it's a hook, but it's definitely in tempo. Now, bishop d6, he was actually worried about knight h7. And I think that might be insane. Doesn't Gustav, it's just an insane move, Bows. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Because even if you don't see, don't castle, as long as you don't castle, aren't you just winning though, man? Right? Yeah, that's a weird thing to be worried about. White's not in a position to do anything spicy like that. No way. No way. Even if you didn't even take the knight, he would have been opening up your rook. Time for a party, So that's really weird that you got spooked by that move. Okay. Yeah. And then you talk about bishop d6 and knight d5. I think, right, if you don't know what the hell's going on, you just play, the first two moves that I guess would come to mind would be these two, right? bishop c5 or bishop d6. Maybe knight d5. I don't know. Let's see what he says actually about knight d5. Knight d5, hitting the knight. Here's my prep line. Okay. It's, well, let me say the obvious. Now we're obviously no longer afraid of knight h7 because the knight's moving away from h7. Yeah. Let me just say about this whole thing. I tried this as white for a while. I do think it's very interesting. As white, the thing I was drawn to was this amazing variation here. And bishop d6, not even taking that knight. Very interesting. It's just an interesting position. I don't think it's better for white or anything. It's just an interesting position. Steinitz played it. Fischer played it. Short played it. You know, so you have some people who made an interest, have thoughts about this position. In any case, so I played this whole thing, and bishop d3, like Hikaru tried that or something, you know. But ultimately, if black just develops, you just develop those, you are going to have a very nice play. So here we go. Boom, boom. And now bishop e7. I was afraid of white grabbing the dark square bishop, ruining my ability to attack by h2 in the future. But white said in the postmortem he really wants to grab the knight, not the bishop. But I shouldn't have feared this. Even if white grabs the bishop, I can still contest the long... Okay. Now, one of the things I really want to stress with the bishop d6 move is when he takes, he gives you a tempo, right? When he takes, he gives you a tempo. It's a big deal. Now here, of course, I think we can say white has solved most of their grief. And we still have practical chances to hold this thing. And white has to play, I think should be looking to play very soon here and here. Let's see how he does it. Now, whether it's right or wrong, it's kind of like what you want to be doing. Bishop e4. Okay. All right, let's say bishop d7, knight d6, and now he has a choice. He plays bishop f3. Okay, maybe wise. If we were able to grab the bishop, we would still be significantly worse, but at least we would, you know, have a little lucky charm around our neck, right? Rook b8. Ooh, and I don't like knight takes e4. I definitely think we should play bishop e7. Yeah. Here you have some compensation. And you're going to need to, I think you need to move this bishop back anyway. Conceivably, you could worry over this move, but at least here we can start, you know, doing something. I don't know, you know. I mean, is it terrible? It's not great. It isn't great. We're going to admit it. Maybe even bishop c8 we could get away with, because here we probably win a piece over here. In any case, you snip, and he takes this way, which we're going to call unambitious. So bear in mind, the guy, the guy is giving you now hope. So let's just put it this way. Now we're in a position, a technical position, where you do have a minor jump in development. He owes you a move like b3. He is better, but there's still fantastic chances for you here to hold. And, if he could blow it, he can blow it. This one, let me just say, before I read your comment, what I don't like about it is that you are jamming your bishop over here. Oh, God. Yeah, we're on a whole Discord war. Well, I said some things ages ago about chess life, dude, and U.S. chess, and then, oh, man. They were mad. It was the whole Jen Shahada thing, dude, and I don't know. It's a whole nightmare over there. Okay, Kraai, can you focus, please? Can you focus on what's going on? So, yeah, no, clearly black confused his line. But okay, the game's not over yet. So why don't I like queen e7? Because you're jamming the bishop. And right, maybe queen c7 or simplistic bishop e7 is on the cards for us too. I think white should strongly consider at some point bishop g4. So for example, queen c7, maybe just bishop g4. Yeah, that seems logical. Okay, in any case, queen e7, queen e2. I would rather probably again see bishop g4. b3, okay. And now queen c7. What are we doing? What are we doing with queen c7? We already developed the queen, boss. We already developed it. Yeah. Now you give a line with c5, and that at least seems more plausible to me. I think a good default move as well could be rook fd8. And then let's say bishop b2. Well, then we'll consider c5. And let's say c4. Is white better? Yes, they're better. But this is going to be a tough position to win. You'll continue with your a5 business. And I could tell you from experience, it's especially if you are tenacious, it's not going to be easy to crack you here. This, though, I feel is a full loss of tempo. Right? Rook d1, c5. Okay. Now, c4 certainly seems correct. He does this. c4. Good. And he finally plays bishop g4. By the way, let's look at our time graph here. Oh, this is, you can see they got some more time at move 40. This is such a cool graph. Black is spending his time pretty well, gets into a little bit of a crunch, and white, I don't think is thinking enough. Because one of the reasons I asked, I was like, well, wait a second. You play queen e2 and then bishop g4, bows. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, now you make a passive move, rook fe8. Okay. So you write, I didn't want to capture on g4 and grab the white queen into a pretty aggressive looking square. By the way, why did I think he should have done it long ago? Because this bishop, I'm pointing at the square on my is our good bishop, and this guy needed to be fixed. This guy is a turd. Nobody likes him, right? And so here we go. He finally does it. That's why I was thinking like, oh, he only thought of it now instead of thinking about it earlier. Now, rook fe8, I'm not a huge fan. Just because it's so slow. Let's say something obvious, though. He should not have let you play this move. Once you achieve this move, you at least have hopes and dreams and that kind of thing, you know? So, for example, let's say we take, we do have a bummer here, because he's got this thing. This is the coconut that's killing me here. Okay, not fun. Yeah. At this point, bishop g4, it's starting to look better and better as a move, honestly. You know? You write like c3. What are we talking about here? Oh, rook dc1. I like this bishop d4. It's correct. He should have done it long ago. This seems like a reasonable move, but somewhere in the next few moves, White lost the thread, and the advantage he possesses fade away. In the post-mortem, White said he was playing on the time advantage he had, trying to get me into time trouble instead of playing the position. Well-known mistake. And we thought this was the problem move. White can just sit and ask Black what they're going to do. But now Black has an easier path to the time control. Okay, well, let's look. First of all, I believe none of it. I believe none of it. Let's look at how it went first in the game, and then we'll come back. So poop, 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 rook c6, queen a4, boom, boom. And now we're going to get this technical position with queen a7, bishop a7. In the post-mortem, White said he missed this pin, and now White has lost most of his advantage. I certainly cannot claim that Black's better, but this should be holdable for Black. Okay, interesting. I don't believe it. To me, this all looks correct, that White should be winning, and maybe I missed some, but our bishop is better. We have those two connected pass pawns. So let's look at how this goes. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. Boom. Now, rook ac8. Why don't I believe any of this? Because the bishop on a7 is holding down the f2 square. What does that mean? That means bishop e3 is incorrect because it allows this bishop to trade itself off. Oh no! So this is the position where White needs to take a momentito. And either g3 or h3 should lead to what I would call a winning position. Yeah, there's g3. Game is over. My rook is even behind the pass pawn. It's already behind the pass pawn, boss. There's no counterplay. Zero counterplay. I own the square. I own, if you could, like, let's say you even get all this stuff. You don't have the square, boss. There's no way to get to said square. No. Game finito. Game finito. Okay, so this is a question mark here. Good move. Notice what is happening. I'm trading my good piece. My in this case, Black is trading their terrible piece for White's great white piece. And we're going to get access to this square. Here, let me show you guys something. Oh, there's no more bishop a7 because this. If bishop a7 were possible, I'd love to put it back. Okay, so here we go. Boom, boom, and then the guy goes back. All right. Instructive moment. We're at move 31, so he's starting to get there, you know, in terms of the time. Oh my God, the boys are really talking on the Discord. Okay. So, King f8, instructive moment. I spent a while debating between King f8 and a rook move and chose incorrectly. We agreed in the postmortem that while it's good to centralize one's king, the white rook has the d file locked down, so the white king cannot make any real progress. I also have an amazing opportunity with rook b2 to turn the game around, at least to a draw, and I should be playing it immediately, asking white how he's going to unwedge the game. I like that word, unwedge the game. That said, we still have the opportunity to play rook b2 on the next move, so while we thought king f8 was dubious, I think it doesn't ruin things for black. So, I definitely think that king f8 is in the wrong spirit of the position, because your asset right now is, can I create drama? So let's look at rook b2 and the analysis here. So rook b2, he says rook f1. That I disagree with. There's only one move here for white, my friend, and that is rook here. I need to pop that rook off of the b pawn. So then we might anticipate rook e2. And now we're going to have questions. Right? I don't know what's going to happen. Let's go. Let's go a4, rook here, and now I'll go over. And this I'm scared. I'm scared because you got to kill this pawn pronto. Let's go kill it. And now you got to go passive. And this is a crispy critters position right here. That's what they call crispy critters. I'm about to play rook f2. We're going to cruise over. No, it ain't going to work. So, I definitely think rook b2 is the correctamundo move. But he can't be going rook f1. He's got to push you off the b pawn and then march. March, 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 march. Let's check our variation again. Rook e2, a4. I mean, it's a bummer, man. You got it. I mean, what else are you going to do? Now I go back. Rook e4, a5, rook b4, a6. You got it. You come back, son. Come back. No, you got to go kill that pawn pronto. Now, one cool trick is if I go here, you can go this one. Ah! And then I scream. So I can't give you that. Yeah, no, this is the passive rook in action. And now we're toast. So what does this mean? That this was a terrible move. This was definitely your best shot. But in this position, you are probably still cooked. And on rook e2, what did you say? f3. Well, definitely not that. And you talk about rook e1. Maybe rook e1. But let's talk about the tacos. Let's talk about the tacos, man. Let's talk about them tacos. E4 pawn isn't interesting. You got to slay this one or that one to believe you're going to live through this. Right? MG says, after rook f1, rook a2 isn't as good because of the two pawns and white doesn't have to trade. I think I know which variation where you're talking about. You're talking about here, 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 here. Well, okay, first of all, this move is a trick because I'm threatening rook f2. But I take and bows. I'm up 2 pounds. They's gonna run. Now, are there some technical difficulties? Is this rook still annoying me a little bit? Yeah. But that's 2 connected passers, man. You know, that's 2 connected passers. All I have to do is somehow solve my king situation, which I will eventually. And then we party. Then we party. It'll still be a little bit, let's say it was a technical affair here. White can't just, blah, blah. They got to really be precise. And Abdul says it should be easy. Maybe it will be easy. I'm just saying, I know that I wouldn't resign here. Let me put it that way. Okay, so, by the way, going over these endgames, this is how you learn to play the endgames. This is not the endgame you find in like the Dvoretsky manual or something. This is just like a practical ending. You got to think about it, learn some tricks, and I think that variation when you see the pawn on a7 and then you say to yourself, all right, that's a done deal. That's a done deal. Okay, so here we go. King f8, not in the spirit of the position. He goes for it. Passed pawns must be pushed, but concretely. White now has 2 hanging pawns that are targets. He doesn't care about the e-pawn, but I'm happy to snag a pawn. So, what you should do is talk about what we think White should have played. To me, it feels kind of obvious, and that's that move, right? So with rook b2, we go here, like we did before. And yeah, we're pushing. We want to make your rook passive. That's what we want to do. We want to make that thing passive. And I don't see a simple way for you to win this thing. Yeah, it's some real drama. Now maybe b4, but I don't like it. You go here. Think about it a second. And you say here about this, immediately targeting the pawn. And you say instead, rook b2, I have no idea why this would be equal. No idea why this would be equal, right? Let's just push a pawn. Rook c2, rook f1. You can do that if you want, but I got 2 passers. The game is finito. I'm rolling, son. I'm going. I am an angry, angry man. Yeah. Okay. So, 8c4, b5, snip. Now he goes b6, and you say question mark. I think you're right. Okay, good. So, what is b6? Just careless, right? Just careless. And what you should do is write what you think White should have played. Maybe it's obvious. Maybe it's we're just playing this move, right? But you should write it. And you played rook cb2. And I want to turn you on to a dirty trick here. You could have played this move, Baus. Bam! Ooh, Baus. And now you are the one holding the coconuts. You are the one holding the coconuts, Baus. Welcome to the dojo. That's right. Now, this one, I think we would say is technically, we call it technically drawn or some fancy thing like that. But White will suffer. White will suffer. Now, granted, you're down low on time. Okay. Now your rook gets passive. Okay. So, interesting position. And we're almost to move 40. You say rebuffing the king. Okay. Yeah, you should hold this. This shouldn't be too hard. Instructive moment. I'm pretty fatigued at this point, but seeing the pawns on the board, started counting reserve tempi for both sides and thought I'd end up ahead. forcing some weakening of white's position. I think when I hear reserve tempi, I think about like he sees a pawn endgame or something. I don't even see yet. The key thing I miss is that this doesn't make any sense at all. White has an infinite number of reserve tempi because he can shuffle the rook around in the A file. But white has a problem too. If I can construct a fortress, I can also shuffle around and white cannot make any progress. Okay. Yeah, to me, F5, especially if we're just blitzing, well, not blitzing, but we're past move 40 here, but it's just the first instinct move. I don't see a way to easily mess with you. If the king were like this, then obviously it's a little bit better of a chance for white to mess with you. But in this situation, it's not easy. Now, does F6 blow it? It's weird. It's a little bit like your king F8 move. It's not in the spirit of the position, but I don't know if it blows it. Okay, nothing really went down. And then F4 does look terrible. Since I didn't know to build a fortress, I'm not sure would I call it a fortress? Yeah, I wouldn't call it a fortress in the sense that white has to watch his coconuts here too, honestly. But with F4, this doesn't make any sense because you're giving him that inroad. And then I guess he's going to zug you. Yeah. And then I guess, okay, even then, I'm not entirely convinced you're hosed, okay? So definitely F4 is incorrect. Nice move. Yeah, he did it to you pretty good. Okay, let me just think about it. If there's any way you can be tricky. That's pretty bleak, we got to admit it. Also, really strong on his part to go king c4 instead of king e4. Yeah, good note, king c5, king e4, king d6, rook d2, king e6. But the problem here is now he has rook d5. And I think you're toast, dude. I think you're toast because he's going to go bam and then bam. Ah! Wait, is it? Maybe it's not true, Kraai. Maybe it's not true. Hold on. No, it looks bad, though, because here, check to the miserable king. Here, check to the mid. No, it's not check yet, buddy. Check. Here. Oh, it's still pretty hot, isn't it? It's still pretty hot. I think we're done. So if we go back, that was kind of fun. King c2, I'm trying to run the rook off, obviously. And the black king is basically still in zugzwang. I don't know how else you're going to make any counterplay. And then when I run, it ain't fun, as they say in the movies. Now, here maybe, here maybe, here maybe. Okay, 5. Here. F3, A7. Oh, it's hot, but I think we're winning that. So, back, passive, And then I think we're going to just say we're toast here. Holy la. Holy la. Okay, this is pretty cool. That was a nice finish from your opponent. Might as well try. Yep. Oh, that was a great game, dude. That was a great game. Now let's go back and look at some stuff here from Shattered Nirvana. So dude has literally done 250 games, Bows. Dang. And sometimes, by the way, there are people here who are uploading games that almost some of them have no annotations, and I'm like, well, what do you be doing? But from what I've seen from Shattered, is that every game, dude, every game he's putting in the work. Okay, there it is. So I'm just going to say it is now my personal task. It's now my personal task for Shattered to make progress. Now he's going to get this boost, so it's going to be confusing. It'll be like, did I make progress, or was that the boost that made the progress? But basically, he's been at a plateau since June 19th, right? Actually, he was up significantly higher then. So he made it all the way up to 1745. We all go through these plateaus. Me and Kostya are at it. Well, Kostya's dying, dude. He's at it. Anyways, there's some grief. There's some grief. Oh, man. But I really want to believe that I want this dude to make it, because he is not only doing the program, but he's doing it right, dude. Those are good annotations. And I really do feel if you annotate your games that way, you are going to make great, great progress. Okay, so let's actually look a little bit more. Has he done, someone is talking about the sparring. He's done the algorithms, look at that. Hasn't done this one. Has not, oh wait, it's kind of weird, because this one, it says he's done this, but it's not lit up with a blue check mark, so I don't know what that means. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Why does it say that? I'm a little confused about the grayed out check mark, but definitely this is a good thing for him to do. Yeah, I want this dude to make it, man. Let me just say, there's all kinds of players in the dojo, and this Shattered has been playing, you know, as long as I have. So that FIDE identification number is from way back in the day, you know. So what's going to happen is you're going to reach some kind of level, and it's going to be very hard to progress beyond it, right? And once that happens, right, this is kind of the whole idea behind the training program, is that you really go for it, and then we want to believe that you can make it. And so, dude, I'm invested. I am personally invested in Shattered Nirvana making it. He did it in a previous cohort. Okay, maybe, but what I'm confused about that, MG Weirdo, is it doesn't have him as graduating. I don't know. You know, maybe he did, but usually there's a little graduation thing. Or maybe it was before we had the fancy, I don't know. But that was my sense too, is maybe it's because of that. Yeah, blah, blah, okay. I mean, you might have a good point there. Anyways, dude is doing it. It's really great. Okay, in fact, I'm going to make a Discord announcement. Announcement. Kraai is officially invested in Shattered Nirvana, making it to the next level. Okay, let's go and do the next one. That was very insightful, dude. I've looked at a little bit of Shattered before, but that was like, oh, it wasn't just insightful. I was like, dude, that was the tour de force of study. Okay, here we go. 1700, 1800. Now we have Glios. I've looked at Glios a bit before. And I believe Glios is in Israel. That's why this it's like a custom rating. And wait a second. It's also a little confusing because we have a situation where it's, well, arguably he should have graduated, hard to tell with a custom rating, right? So let's just click into it. Glios is definitely working. And damn, that is doing a lot of work. Let's look at this training plan. So here you can see endgames completed, tactics almost, books not so much, openings almost, games and analysis getting there, dude, getting there. Clubs, Sicilian Sparring Club, okay. We got so many clubs, dude, they just keep coming. They keep, actually, let me go visit clubs for a second. Creation date, and then we'll go descending. These are the new ones. I just want to see. For members still playing on the ICC, that site's dead, bows. DGT boards, Portland, Central Florida. Oh, dude, we got so many, man. Okay, great. Let's go back. Activity and games. Dude has 30 games in here. And so that doesn't quite mesh with the games analysis of a 120. Well, I guess he could, time out. Let's go activity, and we'll hit games and analysis. So, right, played, postmortems, annotated games, right. So he's not annotating everything. Okay, so this was played fairly recently. By the way, what are we seeing with these people? Like, they're going for it, man. They're doing it all the time. Now, ratings, I just want to check. It's this one is on, can I click this? Oh, no, that's just taking me here. So, it's confusing to me, obviously. There's this ChessCom, which is maybe inactive, hard to say. It might also be inactive. Here, this is interesting, 1722. And it might even be I don't know, he can do whatever he wants, but this is actually more telling for me, because this I understand. And what do we see here, my good friends? That is the boost. He got a boost, but he got the old FIDE boost right there. So before he was at 1581, and now he's boosted. Yeah. All right. Got some delicious coffee going on over here. Yeah, so, it's kind of, I just want to say it's a little bit of a bummer with this boost because, especially when you think about the personal, everybody's struggle to make it to the next level was personal. It was like, dude, I'm invested, I'm putting in the time, and now this artificial boost is kind of like, it feels like a letdown. And it'll eventually happen to me as well in Kostya. Like, Kostya is going to become a GM, no problem now, because eventually all these points are going to go up. It might not be tomorrow, but they'll eventually all go up. We calculate an obscene amount of points being dumped into the system. It had so many zeros at the end of it, I can't even remember how many, but it was, let me just say, it was a number with a lot of zeros that were pumped into the system. Okay, so now let's take a look at a game or two. Fun short game, misplayed the Alapin. Okay, let's take a look. We've got a time graph. No time graph. So. Let's say knight f6 is a little bit more normal, but this should probably be playable. He says this is fine. So knight c6 feels funny to me because I'm worried we're going to get smacked by some kind of d5 thing. Knight c3, queen d6. And now white gets frisky with knight b5. Now I think we're getting rolled here with d5, yeah. g3 maybe too. Jeez Malise, buddy. Dang it. So, bummer. So what happened here in this devastating loss is that Glios got confused with his opening stuff. And maybe knight c6 is fine, but it's got to be said, it feels weird because, maybe knight h6, by the way, maybe. But the key thing is this knight doesn't know yet that it wants to go here. This knight definitely knows it needs to move, and this king knows it needs to castle pronto. So knight h6 maybe, but, knight f6 would be a typical queen's side pawn isolated, whatever you want to call it, position, right? So this is weird. This is a little weird, and then this is, I think you're already in a little bit of grief though, right? Like let's say you go to, on b4, this loses immediately. So you gotta, let's say you go back. Well, both d5 and bishop f4 scare me. But this is where we gotta analyze it. Okay, let's do another game from Glios. These are weird because this was played like way back in the day in 22, but he just did them. Let's see if we can come up with a date played. It's a little bit more. Okay, a little bit ill. One thing about Israel is you got all of these old Soviets that came in, dude. It's like most of the, I don't know if it's most of them, but there's a huge ex-Soviet population, and they're all chess players over there. Not all from Russia, like my friend Michalevsky from originally Belarusia, for example. All kinds of Jewish dudes ended up there. Okay, here we go. Good. Here, here, here. I've actually faced this recently myself. And dc5 is a nice move. I also played bishop e3 here. Okay, so dc5, I like it. Maybe I'm going to learn something here. Okay, now black plays a5, and he says, I like this move for him. I was out of book here. I knew there were two viable options here, a4 as I played in the game, and knight bd2. I definitely prefer knight bd2. And he writes, after he plays a4, about knight bd2, he says, I didn't go for this because I wanted a structure I understand, and even though this is still good for white, I just wasn't sure about the positions I could get. And this is a great note because this b4 trick actually happens quite a bit. And the way I would describe it in this position is our most difficult task at the moment is to make this knight do something, right? That looks like hands down. If we solve that problem, oh man, we are doing great. So this thing, if we didn't see b4, we could say to ourselves, this is a bummer with my knight. I don't know what to do. But once you see it and you see that this is glorious, you're like, oh, okay. And in fact, maybe we should give a variation with the bishop moving. But notice the bishop is confused to move. If he goes this way, then the dark squares on the king side are a little bit confused. And if he goes this way, then at least we're fighting more easily for this square. And then a very simple plan for us here could be kick, pop, and rop. And here, not only are we putting the question, but more importantly, we're introducing the idea of fixing our poor piece. Okay. Oh, Blalaga is actually here. Blalaga, I'm sorry, I didn't notice. I get confused by the different handles on all the different sites. Yeah. Now you're saying, but AB, bishop A3? We can look at that. You mean here, here, here. Here you've got to do a dance of celebration, though, with bishop A3, because dude is trading off his good bishop for your undeveloped piece. For your undeveloped piece. So here, your default move here would be knight d4. You're doing great. Doing great, yeah. Okay, so a4. Now, maybe it's not so bad, even if I'm a little prejudiced against it. Yeah, let's give it a chance. d4, weird move. This was a big mistake by my opponent. As white, we are castled and have our e5 pawn helping us in whatever attack that may come. By opening up the position now, he helps us get our initiative going. Another note is that d4 potentially fixes our knight on b1 that usually wants to be developed to c3. Great note. With the inclusion of a4, a5, we even get an uncontested b5 square for it. That's a great note. That's a great note. Castles. This looks normal. Black should watch out still. Right. Simple development. We're going to get knight b3. And yeah, I still like your position. Maybe b6 would be a nice move. At least it would make some sense out of a5, right? So maybe here. Here. Yeah, maybe you could play queen e2 if you're 2. Maybe you play queen e2. In any case, the point of b6 is that when you do tap us, we will leave the bishop there because we'll say that that's a cool piece. Right? Okay. Nice. Those are good notes. I even get a mention in here. And Balaga saying he even likes knight a3 better. I like what you did, but I understand knight a3, sure. Okay, looks like a mistake. Simple chess. And he gives a long variation about CD. I'm interested, yeah, so that was a mistake. Another really basic way to play here after d4 is just to play knight a3. And then the intention is when they take, we'll just take back with the pawn, which is dominating this knight. And then you're going to get this thing, you know. Queen b6 is definitely a fail. And you found this great move with knight d2. They are in a bad way, especially they gave you a tempo and these two squares. You're doing great. I didn't really understand knight e7. We should probably analyze queen d4. I'm sure his issue was this one. Also really a bummer with that kind of stuff. So, this is bad news, yeah. Simple chess. Simple chess. Well, that's simple chess. Smooth! I'm enjoying this opening a lot. I think I understand it the most out of Jesse's repertoire. Cool. High pepper chess. That was smooth, man. I'm going to take full credit for that one. I'm going to take full credit for that one. Okay. Now, Blalaga, a.k.a. Glios, wanted me to take a look at a game, and I didn't. So let's say this Eyal Amir game. I might have to refresh. Voop. Eyal Amir. Let's see if I can find this here. So it's fairly recent. Okay. I prepared something and forgot. Okay, I don't think it's anything to fear. You could do a variety of things here. I've always kind of liked just playing like d5, intending bishop g4 with a good French. I'm sure what you did was fine. Snip, I don't like it. And then this is, oh, you did see this in prep. Hold on, what? I prepared something and forgot. Well, it seems like you remembered, Baus. It seems like you remembered. Yeah, it is very suspect for white. It seems like white thought that pawns were people or something like that. Okay, so the guy plays knight c3. Here in this position, I didn't really know. I thought I had good chances, but it's double-edged, and black needs to deal with queen f3 ideas attacking both f7 and c6. Okay, now, right, so if we're saying the point is if queen f3, now we can play queen d5. So now there's a threat, and we need a good move. Rook c8. I don't know. I don't like it. In principle, I don't like it. So let's look at e6, which is the principled move. And he says knight c6, queen c7. In this approach, we don't recover the pawn and just have pressure on the position. White will probably give it back at some point. Yeah, no, this is insane. It's insane for white. Baus, you're not castle, buddy. I'm about to put a rook here. I'm going to castle myself. Oh, my God. So the thing that would scare me, though, would be this move, queen f3. And now we say queen c7. Yeah, this would be the one. If I was going to be concerned, this would be it. So boom, boom, boom. And now, why would we play bishop b7? Though this guy's a hero. This guy's a hero. Okay. Yeah. So apparently we're concerned with rook c8 here. I mean, even if we just develop our stuff, we're doing great, man. We are doing great. This guy, this bishop is so angry. So maybe bishop b7, by the way. And actually, in terms of analysis, maybe you could stop there and just be like, I feel good about life. Yeah, honestly, fine. Bishop b7 is fine. Yeah. I just think he deserves to be punished even more. So that's why I was looking for other things. Like bishop d6 too. I don't know if this guy's really going to survive that much longer. Okay. Good notes. Rook c8, passive. Whoa. The point of a4 becomes clear from this variation. Okay, wait. Queen f3. Bishop c4 was your idea. It makes me so sad that we're potentially giving up this bishop. And here, I guess, there would be some kind of a5 stuff. Yeah. By the way, what is White doing? I talk about this a lot. He is not developing, right? He thinks he can play chess without developing. I don't understand a4 at all. E6 can't be wrong. Queen f3, and now you play queen f6. You were concerned about queen c7, bishop f4. Let me suggest queen f6 is probably fine, but even here, I don't think he's messing with you. Because don't we have that move? Bam! Well, you better watch his coconuts, son. That guy better watch his coconuts. I can't play chess like this, buddy. No way. Can't be playing chess like this. Ooh, we're going to rage this fool. We're going to kill this fool. Yeah. All right. So, queen f6, queen g3. Now, you're still doing great. Bishop b4, great. The guy is basically positionally lost, and next game you should say, hey, maybe next game you should you should just develop your pieces. F3, oh my God, oh God, no. Oh, okay. I actually have this idea that, by the way, I don't have any great advice for White. It's already bad news. Bishop d2 would be, the normal move. But what I want to say about this is that it's something, if you heard me do this stream before, a lot of times in the graduate show, you've heard me say it before. When you're playing the level past 1,000, right? Here we're at the 1,700 level, right? This guy's at the 2,000 level. What you will encounter is not people who give away material for free, but people who give tempi for free. So this was very frisky. And what was he going after? Some kind of pawn structure thing. That nobody understands, dude. There was something like a rationalization, but no. Ultimately, no one gets it. At least I don't get it. And now your position is amazing. Yeah. Okay. It's horrendous, and it continues. It continues, El Horrendo. Knight d5. You talk about c5, gotta be a good move. It's hard to imagine that knight d5 is a bad move. So here we go. Boom. Boom. And now we do have, hopefully we have an answer to knight e4. Snippos. Boom. And now, he's just wrecked. Oh, that's very nice, dude. That's what he deserves. Knight d6, king e7. Beautiful. Check to the miserable. Look at this guy. Oh, did you do it to him, Bouse? Did you do it to him, Bouse? That's what he deserves. Now, I just have one request. When it happened, you just needed to lean in a little bit and just whisper real soft. Welcome to the dojo. That's all you needed to do. Woo! Yeah, that was a good game. This is the dojo game. This is the dojo game, and this is what they deserve. They get a Polgar mate at the end after never having learned to develop their pieces. Okay, that was great. All right, Glias, you're doing wonderful, dude. I love the games that you're putting up here. And I think one of the cool things to say about your journey is we can just say you are going to play many people who will give away tempi, right? And learning that skill of crushing fools the way you crush that guy, it's like a rinse and repeat, you know, and it'll, as you climb the ladder, they'll do it less, but it will happen again and again. And learning how to play like that, boom, so I have good hopes for you. Even with this boost, this huge boost that you just got. Okay, great. Glios is on his way for sure. Okay, you could see he was kind of pretty reasonable upward trend even before the boost, you know. So I'm not worried about Glios here. All right, next up, we got 1800, 1900. Being better at chess. You can see, my friends, there are some people doing some great work over here in this cohort. We looked at Kevin recently. That was on the appreciation stream. So that's here. Boom. The hope is in the name. Nice. Okay. There's the FIDE. There's the boost. There's the boost. So before the boost, they were 1730. Probably needed to be at the other cohort before. Now they're they're boosted. And they had some higher ratings in ChessCom and Lichess. Right. Okay. So let's go look training plan. And here we're light on endgames, tactics, books. Yeah. Otherwise, we're doing pretty good. That's a great number. Let's click on activity. Look at that. Bam. Looks great. Okay. Being bad at chess has an Irish rating, right? I don't know. Being bad at chess is here. Cool. No, it looks like they got the old FIDE rating with the boost. So, great work. This is the way it should look too, you know. Middle games and strategy probably need a little bit more work here. But in general, let's take a look over here. So when we look at this, they were definitely at a they were or are at a plateau of kinds, right? ChessCom and all this, I don't understand. There was some kind of epic jump recently there. Yeah. Again, the idea of this show is pretty simple. I think a lot of people think of this show as like a reward for doing the work, and that's cool if you do it. But really, for me, it's like I want to look at people who have done a lot of work and then for whatever reason haven't made it yet and see if A, I can help them to the next level, or maybe even understand something where the program is missing something that they, need to do. Okay, let's click around a little bit. Clubs, European Dojo, good. We actually sent out this email. I'll use this opportunity to make a spiel to the European, everybody in that European club group, and we said, if you bring us the names of 10 people who will be from your local club, let's call it the Salisbury England Club, and 10 people from the club will give 6 months of free membership. And really, it's part of a dream in that we have all these cool clubs, but the real dream with that club scoreboard was for teams to use it, right? So imagine you are a team, you're competitive, you're traveling like the Europeans do. It's so cool. I was able to do it both in England and in Germany for a while. Such a cool thing. And then the scoreboard and the training program allows you to see where you are, to work with your team, right? Spar with your team, talk about it, study the books together, all of that. So like that is the dream. For us, really the next step, well, I would say especially for me, it's the next step of like dojo developing. And I think that it would help the ecosystem of the dojo a lot too if we got that going on. Okay, here we go. Being bad at chess is playing Liam. You know that they're either from the US or Ireland maybe when they're called Liam. WIP, work in progress. I was like, what does that mean? Maybe we should do a different one. Being bad at chess, do you have a game that you would like to look at? Now, Glios, when he chose a game, he was like, let me show you something awesome. It would be more interesting if there was some game like you had some real questions about what you were doing in the game or the annotation. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to take a quick break. You guys can think about that. I'll be right back. Boom. Chess Dojo training program was built around 3 principles. The first is that to improve at anything, you need a structure and a plan to follow, something you can trust. And so at the dojo, we have material, whether you're an absolute beginner or you're a grandmaster, we have the appropriate material to get you to the next level. The second principle is something that also can be used to learn anything, and that's called the principle of plus minus equal, that you need somebody above you, an equal, and somebody below you. And in terms of the dojo, what that means is above you, you will have the senseis and other higher rated players who will give you insight and critique maybe on your games. But at a deeper level, the program itself is the plus that you have to give some measure of authority to follow the program. Your equal is your cohort. These are the people with whom you are going to spar out positions, you're going to discuss books, you're going to play against, you're going to have postmortems. It's a very rich community. And then finally, and this is very important, you need a minus, and this is somebody to whom you can explain your ideas. And only when you can explain your ideas to somebody who doesn't get them yet, have you truly understood those ideas yourself. The third principle is very chess specific, and that is really a Soviet Botvinnik principle, and that you have to go over your games in order to progress. And so at the dojo, we have a games database, and you will be publishing your analysis into that database. Now, the act of publishing, when you're analyzing the game, will have the effect that you know that somebody else, maybe myself, will read your analysis. Okay? And so you will try harder to be clearer about what you are thinking about, to be clear on your analysis. And that process of becoming clear will help your thoughts get clearer too. And one of the great successes of the dojo is just throughout the years we've been doing this, we have a great collection of games. Jack is making fun of me on the Discord because I don't know. We started like playing around with streaming this stuff also to YouTube, and we don't know how to do it, dude. Forget about it, dude. Right? Forget about it. We're not very good at it. I don't know how to do it. Yeah. So we're gonna take a look at the game against a dude named John. Boom. Okay, cool. Summer Interclub Cup. So, all right. All right, so you're playing against somebody who's playing different stuff every time. It's not going to be their benefit to be doing different stuff all the time. All right, here we go. Knight f3, d5, knight c3, Rogozin. Okay. Principled move. h6. Okay. So, I think bishop h4 is interesting. And bishop f6 is a little boring, And maybe it might help to do a little bit of a historical dive on this. So the ancients didn't believe in this h6 move because it's not clear that the queen belongs on f6. The computer loves it because when we actually I'll talk about a second prejudice about h6. So the computer loves it because we're winning the bishop pair. The other thing that the ancients weren't clear on is that bishop h4 might be problematic for white, because the ancients didn't really want to play g5 like a madman. And you will be forced to play g5 at some point. So that's why the ancients were interested in the so-called Vienna in this position. Okay, so bishop g5, you go for it. You have this right. Queen a4. I have looked at this move in the past and was glad to finally have a chance to try it out. Good, okay. All right, bishop d7, correct. Yeah, and what's cool about this position is it's dangerous for black. Black has some questions to answer. Bishop d7 finally, boom. Knight g3. And you say, I think white should take on c3 first if they want to take on g3 on purely positional grounds. Yeah, I don't like black's position, by the way. I mean, I'd be nervous. I'd be real nervous. And even at this point, like maybe the computer would say black's better or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm getting nervous. So you're talking about all these things. One thing we need at the Dojo game editor, by the way, is when I click next, I need to see all the different moves pop up, because it's too hard for my boomer eyes to like look through the variations. I see knight c3. I see bishop takes c3. If black wants to take on g3, then it's probably worth throwing in bc. So you talk about boom, 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 boom. Yeah, and maybe black's a little bit better, but he gave away his dark square bishop bows. He gave it away. Yeah. Good analysis. By the way, this kind of analysis really will help for when you play this again, you know. And one of the things is the computer might say black's better, yada yada, but it's not so easy for Mr. Mambisi. Okay, so here we go, knight g3. Now you're just better. He just didn't even, he was like, I'm not even gonna bother. Now you're just killing him. Whoa. Okay, he's playing with some coconuts. Good, I like it. Potentially controversial compared to the principled castles, but for various potentially fanciful reasons, I wasn't ready to castle yet. Well, yeah, I think castling, it's not clear that your king wants to go there yet, because your rook is doing something on h1, and the second you castle, the dude has h5, h4. So it makes a lot of sense to wait to see how black answers this simple question. You know, so I'm with you for a3. I think that's insane. And you talk about bishop c3, queen c3. I like your position in all of those, but this is insane to play bishop a5. Yeah, thank you very much. And now you play knight a4. In hindsight, this move, let's put it on the board, is a bit lazy and based on looks good-itis. I played it because it looks to take away black's two bishop advantage. Oh yeah, that's bad. And opens my heavy pieces more. So you looked at queen b2 and d5. Now, by the way, let's talk about why was this a horrendous plan by black? Because his bishop is dead. His bishop is now dead. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and it's opposite side castling, and you've got the juice. Now, d5 maybe, But it's got to be said that you are freeing up the bishop on d7 and the rook on d8. So I think your position's amazing. And I'm going to give d5 a chance. But in principle, that wouldn't be my first thing, if you will. So let's look. Pop, pop. And here you look at queen f8. You're really obsessed with grabbing that bad bishop, aren't you? I'm confused about a couple things, though. So when knight d5 happens, and we go queen d6, I guess we're claiming that we're host after rook d1? I don't know. Here, I don't know. It's not clear to me what's happening. So to me, that's the main move to consider is queen d6. Maybe you do have some thing, but it doesn't make any sense to play queen f8, right? MG Weirdo asks, what are you nervous about? Black just doesn't have consistent piece development, behind a development, vulnerable king. Well, depends on which position exactly we're talking about, but the position, let's just assume that we're talking about the position where you thought he should have played, which was right here, right? Geez, Jesse, there's so many notes. So many notes. Okay, wait. This one, right? This one was, to me, the iconic position. Yeah, it makes me nervous because I don't have a dark square bishop. My bishop on d7 is trash. My knight on c6 is trash. That said, it's not super easy to know what white's supposed to do. It's got to be that, you know. But all of white's pawns are on dark squares for the most part, which it complements the bishop on e2, you know. So yeah, it makes me nervous. I don't think I'm lost. I'm just saying I'm nervous. Difficult for both sides, honestly, to play. Okay, so let's go on and say this was a difficult choice. D5, unless we are tactically doing something amazing, I think I want to stress that, then we shouldn't really want to do it because it is too, so freeing the black pieces. Now, you got knight a4, you could play knight e4, maybe similar. Knight a4, to me, wouldn't really be with the idea of taking the bishop, but it does create the threat of knight takes bishop and then b5. So, at least does that. I kind of want to give knight a4 a chance, because here you have a threat, and then if king b8, I can play knight c5 with an amazing position. Here, a nice point is knight takes b4 is met by knight takes b6 check, so we don't have to worry about that. Bishop e8. Please tell me you played knight c5. Oh, simple chess, maybe too simple. Knight c5. This is maybe the more natural move since I've been systematically expanding on the queen side. Yeah, that's right. The reason I rejected in the end was primarily because I wasn't sure how to continue with an initiative once I had the knight here. By the way, bishop e8, not an inspiring move. This is not an inspiring move. I'm not a huge fan. Chess Magus, thank you for rating us, bows. We're doing this thing called Top of the Cohort. So the person who did the most work in any given dojo cohort, we're just going to look at their profile and their games a little bit. So bishop e8, it's ugly. It's ugly. Now, do I know exactly what they should have done? I would tend to believe king b8. But now with knight c5, oh, it's a world of pain. And not only that, but like it's so nice that e5 isn't happening because of queen f5. Any kinds of take we just celebrate because yes, they get rid of their bad bishop, but then our pawns we're rolling, buddy. Yeah. Maybe to answer your question though, let's just assume for a second that king b8 is their best move. And honestly, let's also say something obvious. That the guy can defend all of this junk with king b8. Right? So by junk, I mean this knight takes b6 trick isn't going to work anymore, right? So in any case, let's just address this first, where this is horribly misplaced. One of the challenges of the position is that we don't know where to put our king yet. It's also a challenge for black though, because black doesn't know where the hell we're going to put our king yet either. And we have to be a little sensitive to e5. We would like to arrange some kind of pawn storm, but it's not happening immediately. One move that comes to mind that I like, there's more than one, is queen e4. So let's say king b8, queen e4. And here, there's no f5 because this bad boy's hanging. We're staring this guy down. Maybe we're threatening knight b7. I don't know yet. This is a thing. That is a potential idea at some point too. Someday we will need to connect the rooks, but we can decide that later. These, of course, are our two options. Yeah. Okay. So, you're still doing great though, Kraai, so just leave him alone, okay? Queen c3. This was a bit cagey, probably, when I have more direct ideas. This doesn't continue the queenside initiative, but also keeps a bit of control. At least that was my idea. Now, a couple things. One thing we should say that's interesting is that if I was black in this position, I would strongly consider the counterintuitive CB. Now, this doesn't work, but it should be noted. The point would be that if I could arrange this, by the way, dude could have had the king on b8, but he was the fool who played bishop e8. Remember, it's loss of time that will be the deciding factor at this level. Now, it doesn't work though, because b5, knight a5, here, and mate. That's what he deserves for bishop e8. But I do want to stress that if there was no queen c8, then I think this would be playable. Like if we had to move the bishop back and we won this pawn, because eventually I'll get my play and my king will be safe. Okay, so AB, queen c3. Now, you talk about b5. I kind of like this idea. b5 is interesting because it's at the minimum, it's counterintuitive, because what you are doing is the knight on c6 is terrible, and you're going to free it. In addition to knight c4, the guy's got queen b4 check to the miserable king. And I guess he's going to trade queens here. And I'm going to go ahead and say, not clear to me that you're crushing this fool here. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm not thrilled with b5. Is there another move here? He looks at b5 and castles. I didn't want to give up on the h-file tricks just yet. And he briefly considered queen a4. Okay. Now, I love your position. And queen c3, I have a little bit of respect for. Notice after this knight takes b6 thing, it's a lot harder to actually get at him. Right? It's a little harder to get at this guy. I'm going to say I ratify queen c3. You know, especially as a practical move. We could also talk about queen e4. One of the things I like about this is it prevents f6. It prevents f6. And I really don't want him to play f6. And what I can now dream about, I can dream about you, is to, start piling with the king and then play knight e5 at some point too. But let's give queen c3 a chance. Good move. So notice that queen e4, well, I called it a good move and apparently it's a mistake. So let's read what you said. In the game, I thought this move was a bit slow and allowed the tactic which occurred because the e6 pawn is now only defended by black's queen. So let me just say, from a positional standpoint, it's a good move. Is there a tactical problem? Maybe. I think I see the problem, Jim. So you liked g4, I believe, for him. This is great notes, by the way. g4, and you look, knight h4, I don't like because I don't know where the knight's going. I see no future for the knight after knight h4. And did you also, knight d2. As in earlier cases, this allows h5, h4 easily, so I think knight h4 should be preserved. No, I'm going to disagree because the knight here has hope. Here's no hope. There's no hope for the knight there. Yes, you stopped the pawn, but there's a lot of problems here. For one, he's got to deal with this d5 question. That's a simple question that needs to be answered. You're the one who played queen c3. I thought that was your idea, buddy. Come on, I thought that was your whole thing. Yeah. So, I still like your position here after knight d2. And the problem for black is he's got to fix his knight. So maybe e5 is the move for him, right? But where is the chump knight going to go? I guess it goes to b8. At least that's an important question because now we're talking to him with d6. Yeah. So I still think you're doing great with knight d2. Okay. Notice with this knight h4 thing, now all he has to do is just make sure d5 doesn't work, right? And there's a couple different ways to do it. f6, rook g8. The knight is dead, and you never want to kill your piece like that. Okay, so, and now here you're talking about like king b8, d5, and just you don't want to. Black should never even allow that coconut to touch you. Okay, so here we go. f6. Snip. Clearly he missed it. King b8. And, okay, one problem here for black is, in the same way your knight on h4 was poor, I'm a little concerned about Mr. Knight over there. It's getting hot. This knowingly gives up my clamping b5 pawn, which in hindsight I'm not sure was the correct decision, but I was very attracted to the idea of cementing my own bishop firmly on e6 and restricting black's pieces. Okay, what was wrong with a4? So bishop b5, okay. ab, queen e6, pop, pop, pop. To me, it seems lost. In a line like this, I thought white was still a bit better, but it was less clear to me than after d5. Yeah, I think he's gone here. Now, poor dude. Yes, poor dude, he's gone. Game over. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Yeah. Okay, so d5. This makes me real nervous. Maybe we can do it. Boom. Boom. It is scary. Boom. This is like Glios's game now. Our king is cut. So if we're not crushing him now, I'm concerned. Queen c5. Here's a nice important tactic. Queen h7, rook h6. Genius level unlocked. Okay. Now if that's true, well, we got to say that's impressive. So this was all forcing, right? If this is, I mean, if it's true, makes me nervous. Just because it makes Kraai nervous doesn't mean necessarily anything. Bishop c4, good. When you guys both miss this. Now I'm truly nervous, yeah. Okay, so clearly this was the big mistake. By the way, bishop c4, notice what happened. You gliosed yourself. You gliosed yourself, man. Oh, no. By the way, here, if you want comfort, you know, I was going over a game with KGB yesterday. And, you know, like any game, I made some mistakes. And he said, don't feel bad. We have seen much worse than this one. We have seen much worse than this. It's pure spice here. Who knows what's happening? I'd be, this one, we're talking about what makes me nervous. This would definitely make me nervous. Whenever somebody gets the glios bishop on me, I'm like, damn, dude, I don't want any part of that glios thing going on. So here we go. This is now very pleasant, I think, yeah. Knight c4, he gets frisky with us. Good attempt. Okay. I saw this during the game, but I didn't trust myself enough that it was safe. It should be a serious improvement for white to bring the second rook over to the queen side quickly. Great note. So, right. The point, the way to say it, really, is that the knight on f5 is already a great piece. And what you're doing, of course, with knight d4 is you are tactically preventing b6. But if you can get this guy involved, then for sure, that's what we want. And then boom, boom, you just need to convince yourself that nothing terrible is happening here. And I think that's true. And you're what are you? You're active. You're really active. And eventually we'll play something like d6 to crack the dude down. If he plays knight f3. Yeah, this is a great variation here. I like this one a lot. Boom! Give me it, son. Give me it. Yeah. And even if the knight wasn't trapped, we're still going to be whacking him with this bozo move. Don't call it a bozo move. Okay. So knight d4. He's trying to glios you. Okay. King d2. Good. I was wondering that. Now he's cut us. Be cool. Let me just say, it'd be cool if we had some time annotations. And then earlier, apparently the way the game ended was here, 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 and dude just said, I've had enough. Now, do I understand that? Not necessarily. I'm going to go ahead and say I don't get it yet. Okay, time out. Kraai doesn't understand. All right, help us. Why did dude resign here? I'm assuming we're probably both in a little time pressure at this point. And why are we resigning? Are we down a bunch of stuff? I don't understand. I guess they're afraid. I don't get it. ChessDojoLive, which is maybe Kostya, is saying here, 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 but it's not, nothing's clear. Like, I got this bad boy. Now, his brain might have been cooked. His brain might have been cooked. Right? I don't understand. Maybe the terror on both sides were like, both people were like, if I get that pawn on h6 bows, that's it. That's it. This fool is gone. Now, what we should do is just say the obvious that rook c2, knight c4, it looks like dude's getting some play. I don't know exactly what's going on, but dude's getting a little play, right? And then this is tricky and all, but I don't get it. You know, thank you. And we just go back, and I don't know who's better anymore. It's weird because I think he might. I mean, I don't know. I know it's not resignable, but maybe I'm the one who's better. I don't understand. Like, let's say you take this thing, check me. No, I'm not better, but it's like, well, I don't know what's going on, boss. I mean, look, I'm cruising, and I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of hard. There's going to be some real questions for Mr. Bestian going on here. Yeah, maybe it's Mr. Pruess. If it is Pruess, though, it's late at night over there in rainy France. You know? Yeah. Okay, my friends. This is really good. These are great notes. And we'll say all three at the top of the cohort. They are not just farming dojo points, my friend. They are putting the work in. And especially, I would say for all of them, as long as they keep to these openings, you know, even if we don't like bishop h4 in some objective sense, if you like get to learn, get your head into that kind of position, you will become dangerous. Okay, I like this name of an event, the Kalana Shield. Maybe that is an Irish thing. Okay, my friends, we're going back. Scoreboard. We're going now for the last one, and here I cheated a little bit because I just looked at Nose and Laurent in the appreciation stream. Both of those guys are going heavy with looking at other players' games. So that was what the appreciation stream was all about. So the algorithm that I use then is we look at the dojo score, and then we look at, you have to have done something in the last 7 days. So here we got Thor Biddles, boom. 45-year-old dude, just started playing OTB last year thanks to the dojo. Online chess addict since the start of COVID. Wow, dude. Yeah. Really cool in that, actually, let's look. So Thor Biddles, dude, okay. You know, for somebody who just started OTB to be this high, well, that's the real deal, buddy. That's the real deal, man. You know, and I see a USCF ID with 3-1. I know that is somebody who started recently. So this is very impressive. You know, we can say the dojo had something a part of it, but this is just impressive in general to be this high without having played chess all your life. Because you get up to 1961, that's like, you know, that's like when you go to the gym and you see that dude and he's all ripped as crazy. You know, that's 1961, man. I don't know if I'll tell a dumb story quickly. So, you know, at the CrossFit, they have this thing called the Open, and everybody does the same workout, whether you're a chump like me or somebody really good. And, you know, you partner up with somebody to score, you know, like I was this guy's score, he was mine. And we're talking like this dude is ripped, man. This guy is in there all the time. He can lift a lot of heavy shit. This dude, really nice guy, you know, not pretentious at all. In any case, you know, I watched this dude slay this workout, and, you know, it was weird because, like, in hindsight, it was like, first of all, I was like, no, there's no way. Even if I had been younger and started and blah, 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 I would not have reached this dude's level. But then when I was looking at it metrically, it was like, oh, right, this dude is like a 1900, you know, in the sense that the people who got just like, you know, 10 seconds faster on this one workout, it's like a world of difference, you know, like boom. Anyways, 1900, that's the real deal. All right, let's look at what's going on here. Training plan. Dude already graduated, by the way, so he's done more than this, right? And, oh, hopefully we're going to have some games, Thor Biddles. Hopefully we have some games, Thor. Clubs, SoCal Dojo, and Mitched it. All right. We got some activity. Oh, yeah, he's slacking on the games and analysis, my friend. Oh, we might have one annotated game in here. We'll see. Okay. Now, this is my chance to yell at him. Here we go. Thor Biddles. He's got some. Even one that was played fairly recently. This looks like an online game. I might choose this one. No, that was last year. Let's do this year. So. Okay. Fine. D4. Knight of 6. Knight of 3. Bishop D4. H3. Boom, boom, boom. Did I look at this game recently? We definitely saw this game, this variation kind of recently. Yeah, I think I might have looked at this game recently. I don't know how. Fabi played 92 against Magnus here. Genius level move. And then, oh yeah, here it is. Jesse looked at this game on stream and said this was a good move here, as my knight isn't very good. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at a different game then, because I was correct. A lot of times Boomer GM sees something, he's like, I'll go through half the game and then I'll be like, I've already seen this. Yeah. Okay, let's do a different one. Here and now. Boom. And we're going to flip it. Yeah, this is an interesting system. Yeah, so E6, that's probably not terrible, but it does seem like we're no need to be in a rush about it. And then Bishop C4 is very controversial because, you know, we just put the pawn there, bows. He just put it there. And now, wrong. Wrong to play Bishop C4. these positions not super easy always to know how white should play it. But I think ideas that white should start looking at here are g4, potentially even right now, to punish this slow e6 business. Yeah, g4 looks very compelling. And if not g4, we can play like queen d2 or queen d3, maybe even queen e2, castle's long, and then we're going to be looking for g4. But I think that's the key idea. Bishop c4, I can get it in some position. If he had castled, then maybe bishop c4. But, you know, after e6, no way. No way bishop c4. Now, is this a good move? I don't know. I don't know. Unless he has some crazy tactic, I'm going to say I don't like this move. He has freed your bishop, and he plays a passive move. And you analyze castles, and look, you're saying it's fine for you after castles. I mean, let's look at this. One hilarious variation is queen f6, c3, knight e7, bishop g5, and I think our queen is toast. That wasn't fun. That wasn't fun. And h6, h4, queen f6, c3, knight e7, bishop g5, and I think our queen is toast. I want to make queen f6 work. Okay, but we don't have to be insane here. There's no need to be actually insane. So, for example, h6, h4, and we just got to make sure we don't die or anything. And like a move like queen e7 or queen e8 look pretty reasonable. And I can look to play knight e5, queen a4. So I think the problem for white is unless he's got something here, which I don't see it, then I'd rather be black. I can also play bishop e6 at some moment. Yeah. Okay, so c3 definitely wrong. Remember what I said. I said the problem that you will be faced with again and again is that your opponents give you time. And so you have to learn at being good at exploiting the time that they give you. Queen e7, the guy goes knight g5. Controversial because he's giving you time. You now play bishop f6. Now, knight g5 is an incredibly ambitious move. He abandons the center and claims he's going to waste you with h4, h5. Is it true? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I doubt it. Okay, now I'm going to say I don't like bishop f6 because I feel like you're helping him with his h4 plan. Well, let's look at this variation that you got here. Okay, that was interesting. Now, let me say something else obvious. Queen e8 gives us more flexibility to play this move and then look over here. And also, yeah. So I guess I would be more inclined to queen e8. So, knight g5. Now, the knight has left the center. I believe in your position here. I think, let's just say I'm an idiot. I go here, and they go here, and let's say I really distrust them, and I go here. Let's imagine castles. Goodbye, bishop. Goodbye. I make this wall, and I say, Baus, this guy's dead. Dead as Fred in lead, and I will continue to increase my central control. There's probably something better than that, but I'm just pointing out this knight g5 stuff in general is not what he's looking for. And mistakes come in pairs. I do it too. c3, knight g5. He's lost his mind. And you respond to it. I don't think you need to. Knight e5. And now, here and now, loses his mind with bishop e5. That's not it. By the way, I appreciate this idea. Like kind of similar to what I just did, right? Now, I'm just looking. I am concerned that some weird kakamalaka is going to happen to you, but that's not it. Maybe c4 directly or something like that. In any case, that looks terrible. What are we saying here? He's gonna let you push him. I thought white would play a3 here. You push him, and now the bishop is driven from the diagonal. Now you're doing great. And you talk about b4. I mean, you're doing awesome, dude. You're doing great. Look at this position. Boom bees. That's got to be good. f3, holy moly. I would have also been thinking about queen d6. So I do want a variation on queen d6. So I think that's what you're saying here is like queen. Wait a second. This variation confuses me. Okay. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on, but the smart money, as they call it, would suggest that black has to be better because I'm going to win this coconut, right? Okay, f3. And you talk about bishop e6 and a rook a7. What's going to happen on queen c5, boss? I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't look too nice. Sugar and spice, it don't look too nice. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all, man. Yeah. All right, bishop b7. And now we're trading, which I wasn't thrilled with, but I guess we're still better because we're chomping on that c3 pawn, thank you very much. And he finally gets in this business. Go away. And now fe4. And g5. Doing great. Strategically winning after g5, honestly, because the knight's toast and your bishops are raging. Spent 8 minutes and couldn't find. Oh, by the way, look at this. We got a great time graph on this game. And so here, dude's got quite a bit of time. And Tank's good for this. Spent 8 minutes and couldn't find a good move here. Thought I'd go with the safe approach and take on e4 with my pawn to keep white's bishop limited. Okay, this is a great teaching moment which has, I don't know, to my mind, everything to do with restriction. So with G5, you restrict this guy, you undevelop that knight, and you really undevelop the rook on H1. The rook on H1 was, after he gets HG, it's a full-fledged piece, right? But after G5, oh, buddy. And I don't have any good moves here for him. On knight F2, in addition to G4, which I'm not sure I get, you have other moves too. Like, he's not really threatening anything, right? There's going to be some coconuts are going to get touched here. G4 might be a good move too. But yeah, you're killing him here. Okay, so FE4. That makes me nervous. We're talking about what makes Jesse nervous. That kind of thing makes me nervous. Now his knight's doing something. And by the way, this pawn is in the way of the beast. The beast had dreams, and now that pawn's in the way. Rook D6. Okay. I don't know what's happening. It's too complicated for me, for this boomer. Oh my God. I don't know. Dude, I think I've looked at this game too. I think I've looked at this one too, man. I remember this. I was looking at this from like Lauren's perspective. Oh man, Boomer has looked at this before, man. Oh man. Okay, let's go back a touch and look at Thorbittles. Dude, this is really impressive, man. There's a lot of discussion online of like old dudes improving. And what's going on though is Thorbittles has come to the game and we don't know yet where his plateau is because dude keeps improving, right? And we should expect, I guess, based on the ChessCom rating, that he's got at least a little bit more room to grow. Plus, he's going to get a boost in the program when we normalize the ratings. So I have this does not look like somebody at a plateau. This looks like somebody cruising. Okay, my friends, I'm going to end it there. I'm going to continue to do this show, hopefully, at least once in a while.